Welcome to this video. My name is Eva and I'm really excited to have this video with you because I haven't done a video in so long and it's just like talking with friends and I really miss that. So I want to in this video talk about a 1 year update. So around 1 year ago my ex-boyfriend and me, we broke up and it was a really tough but also really transformative time for me. And I just want to share with you the journey of this 1 year, what I've learned, what I've gone through, and maybe help you if you're dealing with heartbreak or breakup or with maybe something else, but you might be able to relate. Yeah, and I'm really excited for this video. So first, I want to say that this was definitely a journey for me of learning about grief, because the only grief I had before that breakup was losing my dog, and that was of course really sad as well because I grew up with him. It was my cute little dog, my baby best friend kind of, and that was tough, but it was different because with this, when my dog died, it was kind of something I could understand, because in the end, when humans, animals get old, eventually the soul has to leave the body and they have to die. So it was not complicated. It was something that I could understand and accept. I was sad for some time, but it was kind of okay for me. But the breakup was completely different because there was just so much, especially right after the breakup, there was just so much ambiguity. Was it the right decision? Was it not the right decision? Can we get back together? It was so much, and my emotions and my thoughts were just all over the place. And it was also much tougher. It took a lot more time, I think also because there was just so much personal growth in that breakup for me to learn. That's maybe also why it took so much longer. But it was a whole different story. It was really tough. I remember the first weeks after the breakup, I just felt my soul was on fire, my body was on fire. I was just burning. It was just burning, and there was just nothing that could stop the fire inside my soul, inside my heart, inside my body. So it was really tough, I have to say. And I want to say, if you're in that phase of when it's really tough, just know that it's not forever. Like, I remember when I was in that phase of this really tough emotions, watching YouTube videos of people who have gone through, for example, divorce, and it was maybe 5 years ago, and just seeing them being okay again, and I was, oh my god, I cannot imagine how it is to be okay again. And 1 year later, I'm kind of okay. So you will get through it. It's really tough, but you will get through it, and no emotion, no matter how hard or how horrible, will last forever. Emotions come, stay in your body, and then they go. And yeah, so it will get better. I feel like for me, a great analogy, metaphor that I have is, in the beginning, the first weeks, it was like a storm. You're in the sea, it's a storm, there are waves crashing on you. You don't know when will it stop, you don't know up or down or what to do. There's no one that can help you, and you're just staying in that storm of waves and water and crashing, and that's how it felt. And I think eventually the sun has to come out, and the sea has to calm down. But grief and sadness comes in waves, so I just recognized that after some time it got better, after some months it got better, but then it was like walking on a beach and the sun is shining, but sometimes there's just a storm coming, and sometimes the storm is small, sometimes the storm is a little bit bigger, and that's the same with the grief. So in the beginning it was really tough, then it got better, but then maybe there was when on my birthday I was just really sad, or maybe Christmas, things like that, where all the emotions can come up again. So just know that it's kind of a journey, and it's kind of, yeah, it's not something that you can say, hey, I want this to be over right now, right after 2 months, and not think about it anymore. Because grief, there are no rules in grief. There's no rules how you handle grief, and it's just so individualistic. So for each person, it's completely different how they deal with grief. For me, what helped me really get over this over this or move on from this breakup was a lot of different things that I did. I think one major part was just learning about myself, on how I contributed to the breakup, why the relationship didn't work. So kind of looking for answers, and that was really helpful for me, but for other people other things might help. So that's really it. Just if you're going through a tough time, know that it will not last forever and you will get better. Yeah, at least from heartbreak, I think, maybe from a breakup. So yeah, and now some things that I've learned. So actually after this breakup, I really took the opportunity, because I think heartbreak, when it breaks your heart, it also gives you the opportunity to build your heart back together and learn from that experience and really transform yourself. So I was okay, I want to do anything that is possible to never have that sort of pain again. And of course you cannot, like, life, you have a plan and then life happens and crushes all your dreams or something, but at least you can learn and you can try, and that's what I kind of did. So I wanted to work on myself and heal, and I think healing is a word that so many people use, and so many people, they don't really know what is healing. And for me, I just worked on my own actions, behavior, and one situation to kind of show you a little bit more practical how it looked like. So when I was in a relationship, I was living back with my ex-boyfriend in the Canary Islands, and I was trying to make friends, but it was just a little bit slower than the expectations that I had for myself. So one evening, or actually many times, when he, for example, went out with friends, which is really fine in the evening, I got really scared. I didn't know what to do, and I felt like I have to be this independent person and be able to deal with my emotions and stuff like this. And what happened was he just left, and I got tried to kind of work or tried to distract myself, but I didn't know how to handle my emotions. So in the end, I got an anxiety attack, and it was really tough. And it took me kind of a long time to process that. And when he came back, I was just, crying so much. And that was many evenings, and I was just so disappointed in myself for not being able to deal with my emotions or being able to be alone. And I think on this situation, there was just a lot that I had to work on. So the first thing I worked on was processing emotions and dealing with my own anxiety, dealing with my own sadness, and learning about emotions. So with anxiety, it's a huge thing. It's not something I can just say in one small video, but what really helped me was to find the solution to anxiety within myself. So when you feel this anxiety in your body, in your throat, and feels like this huge emotion that's coming, and just, it's just so much. What really helped me, and the only thing that's actually helping me, is to hold here really and press my chest and press my throat and just say positive affirmations, say you're safe, you can do it, I'm here for you, and becoming my own best friend in the process, my own mother figure in a way, and really parenting myself and saying, hey, it's okay, I know you're scared, but it's alright. And that really was a skill I had to learn. And yeah, so that was one thing I worked on myself. I worked a lot on limiting beliefs that I have. Maybe one belief that I cannot make friends, which is obviously really wrong. I can make friends. And just working on gaining emotional maturity, working on becoming my own best friend. I think that's really something I worked on the past year, to be there for myself. And for example, if I live together with a partner and he would go out for a weekend, that I can be on my own and be fine with that. And yeah, that's just really a skill that I've learned, because I think in the end, in a relationship, at least the relationship that I want to have, is where two people come together and they help each other, but on their own, they're kind of capable to deal with their own emotion and live their own lives. So yeah, and I think when I was in a relationship with my ex-boyfriend, I was not at that point yet. I feel like I skipped the step of living by myself. I skipped the step of being an individual and figuring out life and my emotions on my own. And I think it definitely influenced or affected the relationship in negative ways, just because we were not, the maturity level was not at the same, kind of. He already passed that stage of living alone. He was already older than me, so he already passed all those stages, and I still had to kind of go through those stages for my emotional growth and build that emotional maturity. So that was a really big thing that I learned about dealing with my own emotions, becoming my own best friend, being okay with being alone with my thoughts, dissecting the voices of society, my parents, from what I really want. So just a lot of work on myself in that area. And I think that now I can be by myself and be okay with that. Maybe not all the time, but definitely most of the time. So that's something I worked on. Just, becoming grounded within myself and stepping also more into womanhood. I feel like for me, womanhood is really all about stepping into your own self, being grounded within yourself, being able to have boundaries, gaining emotional maturity. And I feel like that's what I worked on the past year. Also, what I worked on was just learning a lot more about attachment styles. It's really something that I can recommend to everyone, learning about attachment styles, learning which attachment style you have, how you can deal with your attachment style, how can you be working with that. So for example, in the past relationship, I had an anxious attachment style, which was also influencing the relationship in some negative ways. And for me, the past year, I was just really learning how to recognize my attachment style, but also how to deal with it and how to know what boundaries I can set, what expectations I can have, and all of those things. And especially for me, how to self-soothe, how to learn how to deal with my own emotions, how to work with that negative self-talk that I have in my own mind. And yeah, so I would definitely, if you have time, work on your attachment style, learn about attachment styles. It's really, really, really life-changing for me. So helpful. So that's what I've learned. I also learned a lot. I read so many books about healthy communication, about couple relationships, about becoming emotionally mature. I read just really a lot of books, and it really helped me to get a knowledge about what is codependency, what is boundary setting, what is a trigger. And I think all of those terms I already heard before, but it's just completely different of just, knowing, oh, they're like, that's a trigger, and really understanding what is a trigger, and really understanding what is boundary setting, how can I set boundaries, and all of those things, and how to communicate effectively. That was just a really big thing that I've learned. I put a lot of work into that. And another really, really great thing that I actually just finally realized is taking complete responsibility for my own happiness, for my own life, and for my own quality of the relationship. So for example, if you have certain dynamics that develop in your relationship and you are not sure if they are really healthy or if they're really beneficial for your relationship, to take the responsibility for your actions and take a step back and say, hey, how do I play into that dynamic? Obviously that's just about like not abusive relationships. Like the relationship I had with my ex-boyfriend, it was not abusive, but so this is just, kind of normal relationship stuff. So yeah, how to take responsibility for your own actions. So for example, there's this dynamic of push-pull, where one person is chasing, the other person is a little bit retreating. Or maybe there's the dynamic of mother-child, where maybe the guy is just, you know, puts himself maybe in a role of being a little bit incapable, or the mother or the girlfriend puts herself into the role of being kind of a mothering. So whatever the dynamic is in the relationship, take responsibility for your own actions maybe, and to really think about, okay, how can I set boundaries in that specific situation, or how can I show up in different ways so that I can improve the dynamic. And I think that's a really, really important thing that I've learned. It really starts with you. So it really starts with you. So for example, if the dynamic is not great, ask yourself, how can I work on myself to change the dynamic, or what steps do I have to take to change? And I think that's just a lot better than just saying, oh, my boyfriend is like that or is annoying or whatever. To really start with yourself and see which steps and boundaries you can set. So that was really, really great to take responsibility, but also take responsibility for my own, not just happiness, because you know, happiness is so fluctuating. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, but just taking responsibility for your own well-being. So for finding your purpose, for being kind of a service to other people, for kind of taking care of your own body, for, you know, just to take responsibility for your own life, to not depend on your partner for happiness or for that, or also taking responsibility for not losing yourself, or just maybe if it's a long-term relationship and the relationship is a little bit, you know, like boring, take responsibility for that and do your best to spice it up in some ways. So that was really, really important for me to learn, that I have to take responsibility over the quality of the relationship I want to have. So yeah, and I think that's how I want to end the video, is just that this was a really interesting year. It was a long journey, and that grief really, it comes in waves. But for me, what I've learned is the goal for me is not to get over a breakup as fast as possible. For me, the goal is to learn the most I can from a breakup, so that I can show up in the next relationship, or maybe even just relationships with friends and family members, in better ways. And I can just say, doing the work of healing, of maybe even for me healing the relationship I have with my dad, and which was quite painful, just doing a lot of healing work, it is so beneficial for your whole life quality. And I know it's hard, like I think it's so much easier to just say, oh, the breakup happened, so I just find a new partner and not think about it. That's kind of the easy way, but it's not I think not for me, not the right way, because when you just do that, when you say, oh, I'm not gonna think about it, just move on, then you never learn from your mistakes, and you don't use this breakup, this tough time, this sadness as a way to transform yourself and better yourself, becoming a better, more mature person. So yeah, I don't know, that's the video for today. It will get better if you're going through a breakup, and I think you're really doing great. And yeah, and life is just a lot about ups and downs, and but I think that's the thing about life, that sometimes it just teaches you lessons. So take the lessons, because if you don't, the patterns will just repeat and it will be a never-ending cycle. So take those tough times to learn, better yourself, break certain patterns and cycles, and you will be good. So that's the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I really hope you have a wonderful day. And if you want to learn more about me, definitely check out the other videos I have on my YouTube channel. If you want to learn more about the fruit-based diet, vegan diet, raw vegan diet, check out my Instagram, my website. I have great, amazing recipe ebooks, 40% off with the code LOVE. So yeah, that's it. I really hope you have a wonderful day, and see you in my next video. Bye bye.